Hey wonderful friends. When I was merely a tender 7-year-old, I embarked on an audacious endeavor to fashion my very own web shooters. Now let me clarify that I lacked the access to the necessary chemicals for concocting authentic synthetic webbing. Furthermore, even if I had possessed said chemicals, I would have been sorely deficient in the technical expertise required to assemble such a contraption. So, when I claim that I built my own web shooters, what I truly mean is that I ingeniously enshrouded some discarded toilet paper rolls with tin foil and affixed them to my wrists. To simulate the web slinging effect, I resorted to wielding a can of silly string. One might argue that my makeshift apparatus was an approximation close enough to the real deal. That's what the youthful version of myself, Ewan, believed as he ascended to the pinnacle of the swing set, donning his Spider-Man mask. Alas, his attempt to emulate the beloved web-slinger ended in a woeful spectacle, as he propelled forth a lackluster strand of purple string before plummeting to the ground, his nose suffering a grievous blowbeat. It became abundantly clear that I harbored an unyielding desire to embody the essence of Spider-Man. In 2018, my dream materialized in unprecedented fashion with the release of Marvel's Spider-Man. No longer did I rely on silly string and disregard for personal safety to traverse the New York City skyline with the grace of a ballet dancer. This game seamlessly merged a masterfully crafted and performed original narrative with exhilarating parkour, combat, and explosive set pieces. Then in 2020, Insomniac Games struck gold once again with Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, a smaller yet equally significant adventure that served as the definitive origin story for the younger Spidey. And now, my dear friend, I am overjoyed to inform you that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a sequel worthy of acclaim, an extraordinary superhero odyssey. Admittedly, it occasionally errs on the side of caution and grapples with a few of the same flaws that hindered its predecessors from reaching the pinnacle of superhero gaming, unable to dethrone the Batman, Arkham games as the epitome of excellence. Nevertheless, the sheer heart and humor that permeate this adventure are undeniable, making it somewhat easier, though not entirely effortless, to overlook its imperfections. Our escapade commences 18 months after the climactic events of the first game. Peter still mourns the loss of his beloved Aunt May, while Doc Ock and Mr. Negative languish in incarceration. Meanwhile, Miles wrestles with the delicate balance between his personal life and his heroic endeavors, a quintessential Spidey predicament. The story unravels with a gloriously ambitious opening boss battle against a classic Spidey villain, reminiscent of the initial confrontation with Kingpin in the first game. We witness the seamless interplay between Miles and Peter, thanks to the delightful character switching mechanics, and are immediately thrust into the realization that Insomniac Games intends to push the boundaries further with the enhanced capabilities of the PlayStation 5. This iteration of New York City is grander in scale, and the velocity at which our Spider-Men traverse it, unhindered by any visual glitches or frame rate drops, is nothing short of astounding. From the very onset, it becomes evident that we are embarking on a grander and swifter adventure, a promise Insomniac Games wholeheartedly fulfills throughout the duration of our journey. As you may have glimpsed in the trailers, the status quo is disrupted when Kraven the Hunter descends upon New York in search of glory. Before long, Dr. Kurt Connors reverts to his lizard-like alter ego, and Harry Osborn emerges from a vacation within a peculiar black substance, eager to reunite with his childhood friend. Allow me to reiterate a sentiment I have previously expressed. Insomniac's rendition of Spider-Man is my favorite incarnation outside the realm of comic books. This team possesses a profound understanding of Peter Parker and his entourage of supporting characters. It should come as no surprise, then, that this iteration of Kraven is utterly terrifying. It is refreshing to witness a character who has often been treated as a mere punchline transformed into a formidable adversary. A sadistic fiend, if you will. The Craven in this game is relentless. His relentless pursuit of a worthy opponent, pushing Peter to the brink of his capabilities. I eagerly anticipate how the forthcoming Sony-produced Craven movie will potentially dismantle this fearsome interpretation of the villain. Amidst this tumultuous web of events, we are also introduced to Venom, the symbiote, and witness Miles grapple with the repercussions of Craven freeing Mr. Negative, the man responsible for his father's demise. I have witnessed stories crumble under far less weights, yet Insomniac Games deftly juggles these elements, ensuring that each character and villain serves a purpose in the narrative. I initially worried that Miles might be relegated to a mere sidekick in this adventure, but he proves himself to be just as integral to the story as Peter, a Spider-Man in his own right. The meticulous execution of Miles's pursuit of Mr. Negative and the gradual transformation of his relationship with Peter as he succumbs to the symbiote's influence is nothing short of exquisite. That is about as much as I can divulge regarding the story without venturing into spoiler territory. However, I must emphasize that this rendition of the classic symbiote saga is unequivocally the best. Witnessing Peter's gradual descent into darkness, his increasing violence, and the helplessness of his friends is a heart-wrenching ordeal. If Yuri Launenthal had not already won my heart as Spider-Man through his previous portrayal, he most certainly has now. And Venom himself, a towering and formidable force of nature, makes a grand entrance that will undoubtedly leave us in awe and inspire discussions for years to come. As for the conclusion of the game, oh boy, Insomniac has truly outdone themselves once again. An exceptional narrative is woven together by a series of breathtaking set pieces and boss battles, cementing Insomniac Games' reputation as the unrivaled masters of superhero gaming on the PlayStation 5. We find ourselves hurtling through portals, confronting colossal adversaries in jaw-dropping combat encounters that can commence in one part of the city only to culminate somewhere entirely different. Of course, amidst all the spectacle, each of these grandiose and exhilarating encounters remains firmly grounded in deeply personal stakes. After all, this is a Spider-Man story through and through. One particular segment, situated approximately 2/3 into the game, consists of a string of consecutive boss battles that left me utterly breathless. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has also made significant strides in combat mechanics, with every aspect of fighting designed to maintain momentum and fluid combos. Both Peter and Miles employ a similar fighting style, deftly blending evasions, web strikes, and parries with an array of gadgets that can be upgraded to unleash mesmerizing and synergistic effects. The ricochet web, which ricochets between enemies, ensnaring them in a sticky trap, proves to be particularly gratifying to employ. However, where Peter and Miles diverge is in their unique special abilities, which are governed by a cooldown timer. As we witnessed in Miles Morales, the budding Spider-Man wields a series of electrifying venom powers, capable of unleashing devastating bursts of lightning upon his foes. Peter, on the other hand, initially possesses a set of awe-inspiring robotic arms and, naturally, eventually gains access to a suite of brutal symbiote abilities. With his slimy tendrils, Peter can seize enemies and fling them about like ragdolls. The disparity in violence and power that our hero wields when clad in the black suit is palpable. Insomniac Games masterfully integrates this crucial aspect of the black suit's narrative into the gameplay itself. For the most part, a Marvel's Spider-Man 2 stands as yet another remarkable achievement from Insomniac Games. The studio has delivered yet another captivating chapter in its original Spider-Man saga, seamlessly integrating it with the most exhilarating superhero boss battles and gameplay I have ever had the pleasure of experiencing. It is a shame, however, that the side content falls somewhat short of this lofty standard. The New York City rendered in Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a technological marvel in its own right. The sheer thrill of soaring through Manhattan remains as exhilarating as it was in the previous two games. And the addition of new traversal mechanics such as web wings and a slingshot ability only adds to the joy. Believe me when I say that you will never tire of launching 2 web lines and propelling yourself across the cityscape, soaring through the air before unfurling your web wings to catch a